jaw-dropping moments on divorce court.
It is rude, tacky, trifling, and low down, and you have an obligation to people other than yourself, and I want you to get out. Nick? Oh. My lady, it's how you treat a man who ain't no good. You put him out.
If you stay in a toxic relationship for too long, it can become difficult to leave and find comfort elsewhere.
I'm here today because I'm in love with a man who blatantly disrespects me, cheats on me, and lies to me. So one day we went out to dinner, and it was a good night. Good night, we come home, you know, have sex and everything. In the middle of sex, his phone rings. And I'm like, I know you're not about to answer that phone. So he gets up, he goes in the closet, turns like this, and shush me as if I'm his side chick.
Avril was being treated as a side woman by the guy at the podium. Not just that, he was constantly cheating and bringing other girls into her place. And when they didn't play along with the act, Mr. Hill, instead of setting his actions straight, blamed his devoted girlfriend.
Okay, I've never met his cousin, so I believed him. So I'm just getting dressed, and then she's like, by the way, we've been sleeping together for 3 months. And you in my house, first of all. I asked him, and he's like, the stupid look.
Those days, and I apologized to her multiple times. So, you know, I did see the girl as my cousin. I thought she was gonna go along with it, but unfortunately she did. She got her feelings hurt.
Douchebag attitude of his man to get on the nerves of the judge right from the start. The guy had the talent of driving every woman around him nuts. No, we are not just making things up, as he drove Miss Ellis to the edge of busting her own car window. And did he regret it? Not at all!
Ask you a question, Mr. Hill. People philander all the time. It's not good, it's not right. But how did you think you could get away with that level of disrespect, bringing the side piece right next to the main piece and not think anything would happen? I mean, you ain't that bad.
But wait, there are some more stupid coming from that magic hat. Well, Hill denied his girlfriend's liberty of going to his family barbecue on the 4th of July and went alone, picked up a chick, but got busted by Ellis. And when the judge asked him his excuse for it, he went like this.
She came, you know, next thing you know, I went right back to the house. It went down a little bit, you know. Sierra happened to come and see me in my boxes and stuff like that, but she wasn't supposed to be home.
So that was her fault.
Yeah, all of it was April's fault for busting him like this, and her dropping out on him like that made the boyfriend suffocated. He even had proof that his nagging girlfriend was riding the same infidelity roller coaster.
The treasure I got with her is that you should see her Instagram. She got videos and stuff like that. Look at the screen.
You got a video?
I got a video.
All right, let me see the video.
Oh, yeah, you do. Look at that. Feet in the entertainer.
Do you believe that she's cheating on you at all?
I had my boy that she don't know hit her up on Instagram and write her a message, and she respond back and flirting back and forth, and she sent her number.
But it turned out that she was doing it all just to jinx up her trifling partner. So far, she was just hurting herself by just putting at his feet like that. I mean, she was busting her own car. Like that would change him. Judge, give this woman a reality check, please.
Why did you stay with him 5 years? He wasn't even trying to do it on the down low. He was bringing his side pieces to the crib.
I didn't know that. I did not know that those were his side pieces. I legit.
But once you found out, you broke his car window and then stayed.
Ellis was clearly feeding off the rotten relationship and was having a hard time letting go. Even her cousin testified that she knew about all the swindling, but still chose to ignore it. Not a good call, woman. Judge Lynn shows her how you get done with such good-for-nothing men.
It is rude, tacky, trifling, and low down, and you have an obligation to people other than yourself and your nether regions. And if you're not a better man than that, what you need to do is tell the women that you get with that you ain't about nothing. There will be no recovery in this matter, so just go.
Wow. Now that's how you deal with people eating up your mental peace. Both of them really needed that demonstration. And we had a guilty pleasure finding it. Now, ahead toward a conclusion.
Your effort, your achievements, having him adds nothing to you other than pain and agony. What for if you don't hear anything else today? He'll never get any better. He will only get worse. Why sign on for that type of hell?
14-year-old marriage is on the brink of falling apart because both of the spouses can't help but step out of their marriage now and then. Well, they have respective excuses for their swindling. Let's see if the judge finds them compelling enough for a divorce.
Does she leave you for other guys, or does she just happen to have relationships once she's gone?
I've asked her that before, and she's told me that it's not her leaving me for the other guys. She's leaving for herself, but the other guys just so happen to be in a relationship with her when she leaves.
So, the trial started with the husband blurting out what a victim he was, because his wife was an out-of-control maniac who could run away any moment and sleep with anyone. But the wifey was not ready to play along, as Mr. Guy was the one that had slept with at least 20 women. Sheesh, talk about nerve.
You admit to sleeping with at least 20 different women during the course of your marriage, correct? I can't get too excited about her leaving and having a relationship here and there, because neither one of you seems to think that fidelity is necessary.
I'm surprised about that, because I just had 3 girls in the top of my head. So when he's saying 20 girls and all this other stuff, I mean, I wouldn't put it past to it.
Further, Mrs. Guy told the court that the control freak he was, the one driving her to all the sloppy actions. According to the woman, once her husband had locked her up in the room, while they yelled and shouted at each other for hours. These revelations had the judge totally frazzled.
I just want all of these things that are bothering me out there. He said he flushed your anxiety medicine down the toilet so you couldn't leave the house. If you're dealing with this individual he doesn't like, he calls you retarded and stupid. He gets mad when the house isn't clean. He
I'm
takes
the only one
half
that
your
cleans.
check. I
Yeah.
mean, Mr. Guy, am I concerned for no reason?
However, Mr. Guy defended himself by claiming that he was totally a changed person now, while his wife was invested in her same shenanigans, which made Mrs. Guy shed light on how was her husband straight up lying in the courtroom.
In the past, when early on in your relationship?
No, it's not in our younger days. That was more so recently. And he's been kind of having conversations with the girls he didn't slept with, and one of the girls in particular. Now she goes to our church, and he's just like talking to her in front of me. Like, that's disrespectful.
Yep, not so strange young man had all sorts of nasty things going on. No, we are not exaggerating. He was getting intimate with his wife's friend right in front of his wife. Like, what on earth is he high on? And then he went to the length of saying that it was his wife's consent. Yeah, right. Like we're that dumb.
He was drinking, and they were already flirting with each other. He already told me basically he wanted to have sex with her. Like,
Your Honor.
they were
So
looking
you
at each
said
other.
okay?
I just said, go ahead. Like, she tried to get me involved, and they started out kissing or whatever like that. So I don't know. Like, he tried to pull my hand in, and I just like, I just didn't.
You weren't into it?
I wasn't into it.
But Mr. Guy was just getting started. He further told me how third to have both women involved, because if he didn't, it would be cheating. And he was no cheater. And his wife was the one being distant. He continued with the friend. This really baffled the judge.
No. Give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I'm gonna get myself together, then I'm gonna ask you a question. I don't know what it is.
Wow, this couple was really something. Nonetheless, the judge wanted to concentrate on the violent behavior part. So she asked Mr. Guy if he was still acting this way. In his defense, constant infidelity brought out his inner kraken, which Lynn didn't like, but knew where he was coming from. Still, it was pushing his wife away.
Give me an example of when he's controlling.
Like his car.
Tell me about that.
He doesn't really let me drive his car like that. He tells me where okay, I drop him off at work or whatever, and then if I want to make a detour and go to my auntie's house, then it's a problem. It's an argument.
Well, he responded to these claims by showing a photo of his wrecked car, trying to prove how reckless his wife was. Still, Mrs. Guy blamed it on him for being insecure all the time. But with such messy dynamics, can you blame him?
I know what's going on. I will say this though. If you guys don't put a period on what you're doing, you gotta get a period on your cheating and a period on her cheating and whatever happened in the past and the family members that you don't get along with. Make a decision to re-engage your marriage on an entirely different level. There's no point.
Natalie Robinson is engaged to a man-child who constantly ignores her. And since he refuses to grow up, the desperate woman is unsure if she should walk down the aisle. Whereas Larry isn't sure either if he can put a ring on an ungrateful and insecure partner. With that all said, The judge asked Miss Robinson what induced second thoughts.
I had got a text message one night cooking chicken, of course, doing my wifely duty. I'm in there cooking him a meal. I get a text on Facebook saying, "This is what your man's doing." Saying something about, oh, he's texting me and he's telling he video chatting me while your daughter is in the background. And of course, I confront him.
So, fiancé started with infidelity accusations. Robinson told the court how Larry was talking to a different woman and giving them all the attention and lying that they were just friends. Listening to what the judge asked Mr. Parker to explain himself.
What was going on there?
Well, Judge, the only woman I only text are coworkers, and that's talking about work or, things about the regular thing.
Hey, Ms. Robinson.
Ms. Robinson,
Handle this. Hang on.
We're just talking about work and everything. It's crazy how she just thinks
Up next, Natalie provided evidence that showed the messages exchanged between other girls and Mr. Parker. She even disclosed to the judge how her own fiancé was fooling around with his sister, which was a little too much for Larry to digest. And even the judge believed that woman was going overboard.
Judge, first of all, me and her sister never gets down like that. Only thing we do is, smoke. I would never do no stuff like that, especially in the same house with her sister. Come on, how dumb am I?
Ms. Robinson, give me something good. I look at these, and all of this is you cursing at the girl about talking to him.
Nonetheless, Miss Robinson had another instant up her sleeve, where her man was hugging one of his friends very tight and lied about the girl being his sister. So Natalie called his mother to know if there was one. Well, the to-be mother-in-law denied, and this made her doubt worse.
Hugged up. What do you mean? Did they
Yes, they
embrace
hug,
and have a hug?
They hug and a good 2-3
When you
minute
hug a friend that you ain't seen in a long
rocking with it
time?
and everything, nah.
When you hug a friend
that's
that you
supposed to be my hug rock.
When you hug a friend that you ain't seen in a long time?
Hey, don't even worry about it, Mr. Parker.
None of that's supposed to be going on.
Don't even worry about it,
Just
Mr. Parker.
saying.
The judge still not buying, and so the woman, desperate, told the judge about his regular visits to the strip club, which has a valid red flag, and the guy affirmed that he did make it rain on the escort. Well, things like that can induce fear of being unwanted in any woman, wouldn't it?
Did she catch you at the strip club on Snapchat?
I mean, I was just trying to show. I'm just trying to show I was having a good time at the strip club and the strip joint.
That time.
I'm just making, make it rain. Do what I usually do. As just what I do on a Friday night.
Now, that is a valid red flag. That could shatter trust in any relationship. And that is exactly what happened as Miss Robinson cheated on Larry from fear of being cheated. Man, tit for tat never works. And when the judge asked her about it, her response was this.
The guy's gonna say, hey to you, are you gonna text him? Are you gonna talk to him? Like, what's gonna happen next?
So he did catch you doing the wrong thing, right?
Yes.
Before we get to that, I want to back up a little bit. I understand that she cost you a job.
Yes. Yes, she's a stalker, first of all.
Unfortunately, Natalie's green-eyed monster led to Larry being fired from his job. No, we are not kidding. Apparently, she believed that he was messing with one of the women in his work. So she barged in and cussed out all his co-workers. Wow! Woman clearly knows no boundaries.
Didn't cause him to lose his job?
He gives me the reason to do the things I do.
What I got is, we know that you talk to other dudes because he caught you. You haven't caught him doing anything. Give me one story where I'm going to say, yep, you were wrong.
The girl he was hooking up with, just like I gave him reason to be insecure, he gave me reason to be insecure.
But now it was clear that Miss Robinson was acting this way because of her past insecurities. She was treated in such a way that she could help but have trust issues. And Larry's non-serious attitude, like doing a smell test on her way, was just making things worse.
If I'm not coming to you talking to you about the things I need to, what you expect? I'm gonna go and confide in somebody else.
Which you do, which is why you get the smell test. Makes you approachable. And if you want to be loved better, be more loving, as opposed to angry all the time. Mr. Parker, you got to grow up a little bit. You got to put the games down. You cannot afford strip clubs. Maybe go in there and look, but don't make it rain.
What would you do if your fiance keeps accusing you of cheating, argues with his mother, and kept her previous kids a secret from him? Well, definitely have second thoughts before saying I do.
I really don't see myself being with Toya for the rest of my life. It's too stressful. I'm not trying to die.
His name is tattooed on me, so yeah, I am gonna be his wife.
So the lady claimed not to back down. Even after that initial statement, the woman was so obsessed with him that she had him fired from not one, but 2 jobs, which she had no regret about.
Mrs. Ward, do you go crazy, call a man's job, worrying about what he's doing while he's there?
Yes.
How you gonna mess with your money like that?
One of his stalker girlfriends was working at the pizza place, and I came up there to fight her and him.
Yeah, why did you leave that part out, mister? Well, he did so because the story was really confusing and scary at the time. Apparently, it had to do with some funeral, pregnant woman, and Miss Greaves spooking the hell out of her. I know that doesn't make any sense, but the judge had the same reaction as us.
You know, I'm not altogether sure what she said. Do you have something you need to say, or?
No, she just.
I gotcha. I want to talk about time she packed up all your stuff and threw your stuff and you out.
Yeah, let's get to the stuff throwing out part. Apparently, she had a thing where every time they got into an argument, or if she got bummed by him, Miss Greaves packed Brown's stuff and forced him to leave. But what she did next had us rolling down on the floor.
Okay, I'm finna get out, so I get my stuff. I'm getting ready to walk to the door. Guess what? She in front of the door. Where you going at? What is you talking about?
Where can I go?
She wanna argue and fuss and all this stuff. While I'm trying to leave, you just told me to leave, so I can leave.
Okay, Miss Greaves may have a bad mouth, but she had a sweetheart. And when the judge asked her why she acted like this, the girlfriend replied that it only took place one time because Mr. Brown had left her for another woman. So she threatened to burn his shirt on a video call.
The next day or the day after, he came right back. But it's just the point. If you're gonna be there, be there. I shouldn't have to act stupid for you to come. Or the kids shouldn't have to fall all on the floor, hyperventilating. I want my daddy, this and that. Because when they go aggravating me, that's when I start doing stupid stuff to aggravate him.
Apparently, she was doing it to get her back to the children. Well, desperate times do call for desperate measures. Greaves wasn't ashamed of her nagging at all, believing it was necessary.
When is my daddy coming back? Can you call my daddy? When I get on the phone, my baby like, Mommy, you on the phone with my daddy? No, I'm on the phone with my new boyfriend. Mommy, I'm telling my daddy.
And she brag about this stuff though. She brag about it.
I can't win for losing.
Brag about
so
it.
if the kid's nagging at me, I'm nagging at him.
Why didn't you come back at all?
And if you think that this is just way too much drama, then think again, as the mother-in-law is still to hit the courtroom. You didn't think that we were going to leave her out.
She lying. She's irresponsible. She doesn't want to cook. She doesn't want to clean. He wants to go to college, and there's things that he wants to do. She manipulates him. He's scared of her, probably because she's tall and he's short, and she doesn't want him out of his sight.
Man, I've never seen a mom victimizing her son over his height. Come on, it's like they don't want us to take them seriously. In the distributive nagging, we've got to figure out that both women were being insecure regarding Mr. Brown, and were just acting crazy.
Oh, did you call my man? Did you call my man to the point where he got fired? And there's things he wants to do, and she doesn't want him because she's insecure. She's insecure because all the relationships that previously that she's actually had, obviously, the men never worked. They made quick money. He wants to work. He's a good man. I raised him to be a man and to take care of responsibility.
Right,
yes, when he...
Their to and fro had gotten to the point that the judge couldn't understand a word of what they were saying. Poor Lynn had to ask Joe's assistants to bring back the decorum of the court.
Girl, whatever, because like I said, you fake. You see her saying, your grandkids, he has responsibilities. What do? You need to get a man of your own.
Stop.
You need to get a man of your own, because from my understanding, for the last class.
I'm going to adjourn this session, and we are going to have to return on another day. This matter is adjourned.